Hey, everybody. Welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched Survivor Season 40 Winners at War, Episode 6, which is called Quick on the Draw. This episode was fantastic. So, spoilers ahoy. If you haven't seen this episode yet, then, where's my... There we go. If you haven't seen this episode yet and you don't want to find out what happens, just in the entire episode, stop listening to this and go watch it right now. It's great. Last week I really liked last week. This week was just amazing. Amazing. I was like so excited at the end. I'm so amped to see what happens next. It's going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to that next week. So we go back to the Yara tribe to see the aftermath of Boston Rob getting voted off last week, and they're like, "Oh, this is great! Tribal is fantastic, and now we can actually have fun. We don't have to sit around and just like bother each other or not bother each other. Just it's so different at camp." But Adam really feels on the outs because he's just not bonding with Ben, but Ben is bonding with Sophie and Sarah. So Adam doesn't feel too good about that. Over on Edge of Extinction, Tyson brings over a log, and everyone's like, "No, not another log." But there's a clue on the log. It said stones. Something about stones overturning. If you overturn enough, you might find something, but you also might just be in the right place at the right time. So everybody's looking under all the rocks, and Tyson focuses on the second part of that message, and he said the only time factor that there is on this island is the tide. And so he is down on the beach, and the tide has gone out, and he sees this clue or this advantage that's tied to a log down there, and it's an idol nullifier that he has to choose somebody to sell it to, and he chooses to sell it to Parvati. So we cut to Parvati receiving that, and of course she buys it right away. Then we cut back to Tyson, and he's enjoying a big giant jar of peanut butter, and that could be the advantage that gets him back into the game, because he's going to have actual protein and sugar. Mostly protein and sugar is in peanut butter, and fat, all stuff that you don't really get from eating nothing. But they have been eating some like crabs and stuff like that. So if you are watching this on YouTube, let's see if I can switch over here. I am streaming this on YouTube right now. I am not going to edit it for when I put it in the podcast version. So if you are listening to this, go check it out on YouTube. I don't have anything prepared for this first part of the episode, but towards the end, I'm going to kind of recap everything. And I have some graphics planned for that. I have some graphics made up. So check that out. But I'll be saying what's in the graphics, so it's not like completely necessary to watch. But I would appreciate it if you watched. Anyway, let's see. We go right to the immunity challenge. Wendell is about to throw their part of the immunity idol, and Jeff calls him. I was like, "What are you doing? You're gonna throw it to me?" And I was like, "No. I like that thing." So they find out that the winner, in addition to getting immunity, they also get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Little do they know that Tyson is already enjoying that much over at Edge of Extinction. But the disadvantage, the bad news, is that the other two tribes that don't win, they don't win. So there's going to be two tribal councils for the two losing tribes. So the pressure is on. Sandra sits out for her tribe. Michelle sits out for her tribe. So it's equal 4-4-4. And we get, let's see, how did these, I don't remember which order these points happened, but Dakal did not score any points. So they had to get big bags of rice through a bunch of obstacles, and then dig inside of the bags and find 3 balls. And those 3 balls they would use in a maze puzzle with the handle things that they're going like this with. And the first tribe to get all 3 balls into the middle of the puzzle, into their slots, win immunity and reward. And they're safe from tribal council. The other 2 tribes, they're screwed. So, Dakal, I think was it Dakal, was really struggling. They were really far behind. They never even came close to catching up. I don't think they scored a single point. But Sele, they scored their first point. Nick scored that. Then Sophie, she scored a point for Yara. Then let's see. And then Adam scored their second point. And then Wendell scored Sele's second point. And so it was neck and neck. Nick got back onto the puzzle. So it was Nick versus Sophie again. And Sophie scored their third point. So Yara is safe from tribal council. And they don't have to do back-to-back tribal councils, which is, I'm sure, is the biggest relief. Tribal council with just 4 people is crazy at this point in the game. So it really worked out that the 2 tribes that still have 5 people left both went to tribal. So that was cool. So we first focus on the Sele tribe. Let's see. The boys talking. They want to target Parvati, but then Michelle, she tries to recruit Nick, maybe. But then she and Wendell get to talking. They get to arguing. And, oh, man, so much stuff happens here. And so Wendell goes to talk to Parvati. And he says, well, hey, if you're willing to give me tokens, I might give you my vote. And Parvati doesn't believe him at all. And this comes back at tribal. She brings it up and he says, well, yeah, if it's because Jeff asks, is that a past offer that's no longer on the table, or is it a current offer? And he says, well, yeah, it's still an offer, which I feel like a lot of the stuff that Wendell said really burns his bridges with the other guys, because he starts off like right at the beginning of tribal council. He's talking about, I'm willing to stab people in the back to win $2 million despite all of past relationships. I'm also willing to stab them in the front. And that got like everybody like, well, that's not helpful to any of us. And he tries to clarify. He's like, no, I haven't done that, but I'd be willing to do it. But also, yeah, I will do that, probably, is what that means. So it seemed like there's a pretty big target on Wendell. And it really came down to Nick. If he thought that he was going to flip and go with Parvati and Michelle, or if he'd stick with the guys, go with the plan that they talked about and all of that. So we'll get to that in a second. Actually, let's talk about that first, and then we'll go back to what's happening on Dakal tribes, because it happened in this order anyway. So he makes that offer again. Parvati does not take him up on it. She currently had... Oh, what did she have? She had 4 fire tokens, but she spent 1 to get the idol nullifier from Tyson. She doesn't know that it was from Tyson, but she spent 1 of them, so she has 3. So she could have spared 1 or 2 of those tokens, and I think it seems like they're pretty open about it to some degree about how many tokens each other has, because there's conversations that's come up and they're like, oh, what are you going to do with your 2 fire tokens or something, or I'll offer you this for this many tokens, which implies that they know how many tokens each other, they're aware of it. So anyway, let's see. So Parvati had 3 tokens. She does not play them to get Wendell's votes, play them. And she also does not have... Oh, and she doesn't use her advantage, the idol nullifier. Not that it wouldn't have been helpful. Nobody played an idol, so that didn't that didn't even matter that she played it or not. So Parvati, she got 3 votes. Wendell got 2 votes. Parvati is out. She gives her 3 tokens to Michelle. She bequeaths her 3 tokens to Michelle, and she's still so this is a question I'm sure we'll find out soon. Does she still have that idol nullifier? Does she get to keep it because she can get back into the game? And is there a way for her to give it to anybody? Could she sell it herself? Could she sell that to somebody who's still in the game possibly? I think we might find out in the next episode, or maybe later. We might have to wait a while to find out about that. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. This whole like economy aspect of the game, and now I am really excited that the fire tokens are coming into play with people bartering favor. Like, hey, these could be used not just for stuff that's on this menu, but we could use this as a tool to save ourselves and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty exciting. Okay, so back at Tikal, Tony disappears. So this is back before Tribal Council happens, and he creates Spy Bunker 3.0. I think it might be. There might have been multiple versions in the other seasons. But he's like waiting there forever, and nobody ends up talking near him. And at one point, I think I would have to check to see, but Sandra gets a weird feeling about talking where they were. And she's like, hey, let's talk somewhere else. I don't know if she actually saw him or just had a feeling that he might be nearby, or if they even were near where he was. But that was really great. He got no intel at all, but also he was not discovered. So I partial success, maybe. So yeah, they get to talking. They want to work together. Possibly, or Sandra is really honest with Denise. Says like, well, we're pretty solid together because we have the numbers. But hey, if you'll vote with us, we'll vote for Jeremy, and we can make that happen. Then when that's when all the girls are by themselves. But then when Denise is alone with Sandra, it's like, hey, Sandra presents this this offer. This, I guess that's the best word for it. An offer that Denise could refuse because she didn't need to take this offer at all. But Sandra doesn't know that. Sandra, she has an idol, and she knows that Denise has 2 fire tokens. I don't know how she knows that. Like I said, it must be common knowledge who has tokens at this point. I didn't do a total tally of how many tokens there are because I think there are now a total of 24 tokens in the game, because the ones that they earned by taking all the firewood up, those did not come from players who were in the game. So those were the only tokens that were created anew from the original 20. But anyway, yeah, she offers 2 fire tokens for an immunity idol. Because she says, well, what if I could give you immunity? Would you take fire tokens for that? And Denise says, well, maybe. But here's my counter offer. Give me 1 now, and then 1 later after, or I'll give you 1 now, and then I'll give you the other after I confirm that it's real, that it works. And Sandra goes along with it because she thinks that this solidifies Denise with them so that they can get rid of Jeremy or Tony. Sandra doesn't care. She says, choose either one of the boys. It's fine as long as you don't target me or Kim. So, is it Kim? Kim's on that tribe, right? Yeah. She wants her to fight Kim, or not fight. She wants her to vote for Tony or Jeremy. So this goes so great as it was unfolding through tribal council. I didn't take any notes on what actually happened, like their conversations and stuff. But the biggest thing was that Sandra says, well, there's the big threats that should stick together or that have been talked about sticking together, like me, like Tony, like Kim, like Jeremy. And then there's people who aren't threats. Like, and then she lists some people from the other tribe, and then she says, like Denise. Oh, big mistake. I know Denise. Okay, this plan, I'm sure, was in the barrel, like loaded up, ready to fire, like before they even left for tribal council. But, yeah, that had to be like, oh, this is going to be. Denise had to be thinking, this is going to be amazing. And at that point I was thinking, this is going to be amazing. I really hope this plays out the way that it has to play out, because this is the best. This is just the best. So they go to votes. Denise, before Jeff reads the votes, of course, he asks if anybody has an idol, and Denise says, oh, yes, I do have one. She plays the one that Sandra gave to her, and it's good. She plays it for herself, nullifies any votes for her. And then she plays her idol, just in case, and also proving that she was not with the others, and that she was sticking with Jeremy. She plays the other one, the one that she's had since she told Sophie about it back in like episode 2. She plays that one for Jeremy, so he's safe, and he's like, "What? This is crazy!" And it's good, and he's amazed, and it's all but done. We think, oh, she voted for Tony. That's why she did that, right? No, it was the best use of. I mean, she didn't need to use the second idol. It would have been even better if she didn't play that one. But as a social move, I thought that was great. I think it's going to solidify those two. They could definitely end up being in the final 3 together, like with that gesture. I think that gesture is strong enough to like keep them solid. But we'll see. But the one vote that was not nullified was for Sandra, and it was all Sandra's doing for selling her idol. It was fantastic. It was like the culmination of all the different twists of this season all put together. I don't see how anything else in this season is going to be able to top getting Sandra out by her own actions. It is so great. So great. I'm super excited to see this. The people who are on edge of extinction is like this mega tribe of gigantic threats. Like if they were a tribe on their own, you would think, oh man, they would just destroy in this game. But no, they're all sitting on edge of extinction. So she bequeaths her one remaining token to Yul. So I'm like, oh, that's great. Now Yul has more than one token. I literally yelled out some expletives when that happens, because I was so excited that it played out pretty much perfectly. I can't fault Denise at all for playing that second idol. She wanted to make sure that this plan absolutely worked. So, it's great. It's great. Okay, so I made some infographics just to catch up everybody, or to confirm how many fire tokens. First of all, I'm going to go through how many fire tokens there are, or who has all of the fire tokens, tribe by tribe, and then I'm also going to just recap who has advantages. That includes immunity idols and other stuff. So first up, let's see here. We have fire token transactions that took place just in this episode. We had one token go from Parvati to Tyson because Parvati bought the idol nullifier. I didn't put. There's another transaction after this, which is Tyson bought peanut butter, and that token goes away. It goes. I don't know where it goes, but it's spent. Then we had one token go from Denise to Sandra in exchange for an immunity idol. Then we had 3 tokens go from Parvati to Michelle. It was bequeathed when Parvati was voted out. And then we had 1 token from Sandra bequeathed to Yul when she was voted out. So on the Sele tribe, our totals are, we have Michelle has 4 tokens. Nick has 2 tokens, one that he got from Yul. Wendell has 1 token, and Yul has 2 tokens, one that he got from Sandra. Then on Dakal, Denise has 1 token that she got from Sandra. Jeremy has 1 token that he started the game with. Kim has 1 token that she started the game with. And Tony has... Oh, I messed this up. Let's see. I want that to look better, even though you can see me editing it now on the screen. But Tony has 1 token that he started the game with. And then over on the winning tribe from this week, Yara, Adam has 1 token that he started the game with. Ben has 1 token. Sarah has 0 tokens because she spent 1 to get the steal a vote. And Sophie has 1 token. So all of them only have the tokens that they started with or none. I think that's kind of interesting that this entire tribe, nobody has left stuff to them yet. As I think if Tony or Sarah get voted out, well, Sarah's not leaving anything to anybody. She doesn't have anything. But if Tony got voted out, I'm pretty sure that he would leave his tokens to... How many did he have anyway? He only has 1, but I'm pretty sure he would leave his to Sarah. And so we have a whole bunch of fire tokens over on Edge of Extinction. Natalie has 4 tokens. Amber has 1 token. Danny has 1. Ethan has 1. So those 4 tokens, between the 4 of them, were from doing the wood, taking all the wood down from the top of their islands. Tyson had a token, but he spent it on peanut butter. Then Rob, Parvati, and Sandra all have 0 tokens. And then our tally of advantages here at the end of this episode. Kim still has an immunity idol. Sophie still has an immunity idol. Jeremy has safety but no power. And Sarah has the steal a vote. And then we have Parvati still has the nullifier. I think there's no clarification on that yet. But that advantage is still potentially in the game in some fashion. So that's a rundown of all of the items that everybody has right now. And of course, Yara currently has the immunity, the tribe immunity idol. And will that be up for grabs again, or are they going to merge? Now we're at 12. That's a pretty good time to have a merge. I think that could happen, although that would also mean that somebody is going to be playing to get back into the game for that merge. So maybe it'll be one more vote after that. It's got to happen next week, I think. There wasn't a lot in the preview. It was all just that conflict between Wendell and Michelle. So there is no indication of whether the merge is happening yet or not. I hope it is. I really hope it is. It'll make things even more interesting, or maybe a whole lot less interesting. I don't know. I feel like this episode is going to be really, really, really hard to top. And man, Denise, so awesome. That was so awesome. The second that I realized that what she could do was something that she could do, I was just hoping so much that that's what she was going to do. And it was great. That was probably the most satisfying tribal council that I can think of. It was great. So yeah, that's it. I don't know how many points I got for this in my fantasy league. It hasn't updated yet. I didn't get any points for winning immunity or reward because Yul was on one of the losing tribes. And I forget who I put points on. I think I did put a lot of points on Parvati and Sandra. So hopefully I've kept my lead or very close to it. But I don't have an update on that this time around since I'm recording it the night of the show, and they update it the next day. But anyway, I think that's about it. Just looking through my notes here, that is that's really all there is to talk about, I think. Totally off topic. I just saw a commercial for Tacoma FD season 2. I think it's starting on March 31st, maybe, or maybe May something. I think it's March 30th. Does March have 31 days? March 30th? I don't know. But I'm really excited because that show is so funny, and I'm really glad that it got a second season. Go check out season 1, Tacoma FD. It's some of the guys from Super Troopers, and I got to see the first I think it was maybe the first 1 or 2 episodes early in a theater, and that was really, really cool, and it got me so excited for the show. And I don't know what the easiest way to watch the first season. It's probably on demand if you have like a cable provider or like Sling or something like that. Just search for it if you have a TV service. But otherwise, you can definitely buy it on Amazon and iTunes. So anyway, all right, that's it. I'm still rooting for Yul. I'm rooting for Tyson to get back in there, and I'm also rooting for Sarah. She was safe this week, and she stands a great chance. But oh man, Sophie, she's growing on me every week. She nailed it in that maze part of the challenge. It was amazing. Anyway, that's it for this week. Let me know what you thought about this episode, who you're rooting for. Are you sad about who got voted off? If you are sad, at least you get to see them on Edge of Extinction for at least one episode. Let me know what you thought by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe in iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there and healthy and happy. Stay safe, healthy, and happy. That's how I meant to say it. Out there in all the infinite multiverses. And I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Messed it up again, but I'll edit the audio version. So, bye.